been a while since I've said this, but what's going on, boys? Quinn69 here. How are you guys doing today? Blizzard have recently released their Battle for Azeroth Alpha build. And since the release, I have been playing it non-stop until the blood vessels in my eyes actually start bursting, and then I feel like I have to stop, and then I go to sleep and I wake up and I do it again, and then I do it again. And now I've finished absolutely everything. I mean, I've leveled characters as far as I can go, both Alliance and Horde, explored all the zones, done all the quests, tested all the changes that are currently implemented, and I've seen, you know, just generally speaking, what Blizzard are going for on BFA. And, yeah, people keep asking me questions, and I have to keep repeating myself. So I've decided, do you know what? Let's make a YouTube video. So that's what this is. Let's get into it. One of the first, and probably one of the biggest changes you'll notice with BFA is the stat squish. Okay, look at my HP. I'm at 14k life. Instead of like millions and millions of life, I mean, tanks are like over 10 million life. My Repellent is at 7 million life on live right now. In the alpha, I'm chilling here at 14k life. The mob is at 14k life. This is a normal monster. He's not like some sort of mini mob. That is a just standard crocodile. My item level is 190. It is so much better. When you attack something, you can actually understand what is happening. It's not just a bunch of white noise. It's not just arbitrarily long numbers where you're sitting there wondering, was it a billion, a trillion? Just watch. Look at this. Oh my god, a 3k crit. 4,000. I mean, 4,000 is that's a pretty big number. I'm just saying. It feels good. You don't log in feeling weaker. Everything else, it scales exactly the same. You're not gonna it's not like your character becomes weaker. Just the scaling of everything is smaller and easier to understand, and it's just so much easier for your brain to understand what's going on. You get a better idea of how much HP a monster has when you click on it. You have a better understanding of how much damage you're dealing, how long it's gonna take to kill something, etc. The stat squish, overdue. I mean, they need to do this to Diablo, by the way. I'm just saying. But yeah. It's a really, really, really good change, and probably one of my favorite things in BFA so far. One of the other things you may or may not have noticed was the fact that when I open my character screen, I have not got my artifact weapons on. And that is not by choice. That is not just an alpha thing. In BFA, artifact weapons are gone. A lot of you guys probably already knew that. That was a thing they said like at BlizzCon or whatever. But I can tell you now, playing on the alpha, without all your extra passive traits, without all the extra actives, it feels bad. Some classes, you don't really notice it that much. Things like Red Paladins, though, for example, it feels really slow, really clunky, and I expect Blizzard to make more changes, but they need to, right? Like, there's huge gaps. Artifact Weapons are filling these huge gaps, and they have to rebalance more. I mean, more than they currently have, because right now, there is some specs that are just really, really clunky without all those passives and without the actives. I mean, for example, they have been adding them in as talent. So this used to be an artifact trait for Windwalker monks. They now put it as a talent. Some classes even get some of their artifact traits just straight up. They just grab the trait and just put it in a passive. I think a few of the classes probably need that, or they need to rebalance the cooldowns and the specs, which I'm sure they will. I mean, this is extremely early alpha. But don't worry, it's not all gone. We have this. This is the Heart of Azeroth. Okay. In the alpha, there's not really much to it. That you can't look at it, you can't inspect it, you can't open it or anything. The way it works is, as you kill mobs, and I assume as you do quests and things, and as you play the game, there'll be ways to do it. Basically, randomly from doing stuff in the game, you'll get Azerite, which effectively, think of it as artifact power, because that's what it is, really. Your necklace is your new artifact, so to speak. Well, it's not really an artifact. It's more like if you were to get artifact weapons, and you get the legendary system, and then you were to kind of like slam them together. I think that's what they're going for with this, which sounds really good, and I think it could be better than Legion even. I don't know how that's going to work with, I don't know if there's going to be Azerite knowledge, or they're going to increase the amount you get as the game goes on, or how it's going to work. They really haven't said too much about it. All we know is this is your new necklace. You farm this Azerite stuff, which is like a currency, and it just kind of automatically goes in your necklace and levels it up. And the more it goes up, the better the stats get. And on top of that, the more abilities it can unlock on certain item slots. Currently, they're planning on making the helmet slot, the shoulder slot, and the chest slot have unique kind of utilities or damage buffs, or I don't know, they haven't 100% decided. The idea is that the higher your necklaces, the more unique abilities each one of these slots will have, and you basically need to farm the crap out of the game to get this bad boy up, and then you need to customize, use specialized heads, shoulders, and chests to kind of customize your character the way you want to, which sounds really cool. I hope they can get it to a point where there's actual choice, because let's be honest here, with the artifact weapons, outside of the first week of gameplay, the choice was gone. It was like, fill out the entire sheet, fill out your artifact weapon, and then just start spamming it into Concordance, start spamming it into that one trait. And there was no, like, you didn't choose to specialize your character at all. There was no choice there. It was just like, the illusion of choice, and they balanced the game around everyone having max artifact traits, and they didn't really care. They're like, okay, everyone's gonna get it, so whatever. Hopefully, you have to pick, like, movement speed versus damage reduction, or, dots versus burst damage, or, you know what I'm saying, right? Hopefully there's some sort of choice there, and it's not just going to be this arbitrary kind of system where you just, you check all the boxes and then you're done kind of thing. Fingers crossed. Now let's talk about class changes. First of all, Survival Hunters. Okay, I'm actually pretty excited about this spec. The Mastery gives me a hard-on, so to speak, metaphorically speaking. Okay? It's basically Spirit Bond, if you remember the old Spirit Bond. So if your pet's out, which most of the time it is, you and your pet heal for a percentage of your maximum HP every 5 seconds. Okay, and this scales with your Mastery. The more Mastery you get, the more healing you get. And the better gear you get, the higher max HP gets, and the more the HPS goes up. It's honestly crazy. I mean, I can show you here. Like, if you see this thing attacking me, oh god, my pet's gonna defend me probably. Like, look at my HP. Okay, my pet just taunted. My pet just... Can you not? Basically, you never die in any world content ever. You can pull the entire screen, and it's pretty hard to die because you're just constantly healing. And, it only gets better and better and better. Honestly, I feel like maybe it's overscaled right now. It might get nerfed. We'll see. But the kind of feel that they're going for with, like, the kind of, like, survival hunter, because, in Legion, survival hunters are called survival hunters, but they're probably the most squishy melee DPS in the game, and they probably die the most out of any melee in the game. They're like the opposite of survival. I like this. This makes them really durable. It means you're going to be capped off in Mythic Plus and in Raids and things. You're going to be higher HP. You're going to be less likely to die. And the rest is just pet damage and your own damage. Okay, they've also changed it. So the way I like to describe it, when people say, what is survival hunter like right now? I say it's a mix between a BM hunter, an outlaw rogue, and then kind of like the old survival hunter. It's a weird mix. It's a weird mix. It is a lot more Hmong, and there's way less setup required now. You have some ranged attacks like Serpent Sting, for example. You can shoot. See that? I shoot out my little crossbow. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I don't actually have a bow equipped or anything. You still do use a staff or any two-handed weapon that hunters can equip. But you do have ranged attacks. So not only can you Serpent Sting, you can also do this. You can pop Aspect of the Eagle. It's my favorite thing to do. Okay, no, go away. And you can actually shoot out full-on eagles. Like I'm not even kidding. Some people saying it's an owl, but I'm pretty sure it's an eagle. Look at that. Destruction. On top of that, you can also throw a thing called a wildfire bomb. And that's got a pretty large range. What is that, boy? It's got 40-yard range. And basically, it's a single target DPS boost when you've, like, as long as you're not focus cap, you just press it. And it also does AoE damage. It pulses AoE damage, so I was to, like, aggro a few guys. Oh, yeah, and you also get disengage. That's probably one of the biggest things. And you still have, like, disengage is default for survival. And you also get your little harpoon as well on top of that. So I was to aggro, like, a bunch of... Okay, that may be too many. That's actually a lot of guys. Is my taunt on? Let's put my pair taunt on. Seal myself. So you can see, when I shot at my wildfire bomb... Oh, God. Let me shoot it out again. You're going to see here. I'm going to show you guys. Okay, ready? Steady. Bomb. You see it pulses AoE damage. So it's kind of like a single target / AoE spell. It's really, 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 really cool animation as well. It looks sick. It doesn't do that much damage. I feel like it's going to be tuned up. I mean, as I said, there's going to be a lot of tuning going on. And probably one of the other things you're wondering is, like, where the hell is Mongospite? Why has he not got Mongospite on his bars? What's going on there? Mongospite is now a talent that you can option into if you want that added complexity. I'm playing a complete face roll spec right now where I just spam like 4 buttons and win. Which you can do with Survival Hunters, and that it feels good, but it feels a little bit empty. The new Mongoose Bite, I don't know how I feel about it, because if you guys have played Survival Hunters, you'll know that Mongoose Bite is based off a cooldown, and you had to, like, you basically let it stack up, spend them all, and then use your artifact power and spend some more, and then quickly let them. You had to be very intentional about how you played. You couldn't just spam, right? Whereas this new version, because Mongoose Bite is no longer based on a cooldown, it's based on the amount of focus you spend. It kind of is a little bit more Mong, a little more. I would say Survival Hunters all around are just a lot easier than they are in Legion. As I said, this is the first iteration, and I do think that they need to change the way it plays a decent amount, but it feels really good. Oh, and then also, probably one of the other major things, kill command. So that, as I said, it kind of plays like a BM Hunter. You can kill command, so as you go in, you can basically, yeah, you can kill command. And if you're in melee range and you're spec'd into it, you can flanking strike. Your kill command also turns into a flanking strike. It's pretty automated spec, I'll be honest, but it feels really good, really tanky, really durable. Go around, melee people, range people if you need to, shoot out eagles. I mean, it's so far it feels really good. Okay, I'm supposed to be shooting at eagles right now. You can't see the animation. It's the alpha. Anyway, Survival Hunter, I like where they're heading. Much better than Legion. They definitely need to add some more things to make it a little bit more complex, I think. Some sort of finesse, less kind of BM. Because I don't think many people like, it gets boring, right? Just spamming 3 buttons or 4 buttons. But otherwise, really good changes so far with Survival Hunter. Now let's talk about Arms Warriors. Probably the second most changed spec currently in the alpha. If you look here, you can see the mastery has been reverted to the way it once was, to Deep Wounds. So, if you don't know what Deep Wounds is, basically the more mastery you have, the more damage your bleed does, and the bleed is procced by hitting people with Mortal Strike and Execute. And it kind of like adds up and stacks up, and if you're popping off, you're gonna do tons and tons of bleed damage. And it's a really good kind of burn damage, and it feels really, really good. Gameplay, in my opinion, I played Warriors and Legion, and I played Arms, and I hated it. It was all about maintaining, like, Colossus Smash and trying to get procs for this Colossus Smash thing, and if you didn't, it was, like, super boring. You're just sitting there waiting, and it was just nothing like what I remember. This version of Warrior, if you remember Wrath of the Lich King Warrior, that's the closest thing I could really put it next to, right? It's like, you go in there, you get procs, and you do damage. And you don't have to worry about, like, Colossus Smash winners anymore. You just kind of like pop CDs and pop off. Mind you, Colossus Smash still is in the game. As you can see here, I have Colossus Smash debuff up. It's a 45-second cooldown that gives you 30% increased damage for 10 seconds, and it does good damage. So you want to press that button every 45 seconds, and you maybe want to line your cooldowns up with that particular button. I mean, I've spec'd into Warbreaker right now. But the TLDR is, it's not all about Colossus Smash winners anymore. It's more about, overpower procs and, using Mortal Strike and using Execute properly and then using Whirlwind and all that. It's way less about getting Colossus Smash procs and then maintaining that uptime and then trying to fit all of your GCDs in this short window and then getting triggered when you get unlucky. It's much more like just getting in there and smashing your face against the keyboard, which is how Warriors are meant to be played. And all around, I would say this is a huge improvement, and I might even consider playing Warrior, man. Seriously, like, Warriors are really good. I really like the way they play in this. I mean, they can jump around, they can leap around, they can do all the stuff they once did. But they don't have that annoying window anymore that you have to play in between, which is great in my opinion. Now let's talk about some of the less specific changes. Some of the changes that I've seen them make, which are, pretty significant, but not just big class reworks. One of the things is Aoe Stunts. If you're into M+, you'll know that Aoe Stuns are amazing, and they're super busted, and sometimes in raids, you need it, right? You have to have it at certain parts, otherwise you just wipe in a raid, right? You need these Aoe Stuns at certain times. They seem to be giving them out for free now, so monks, you don't have to talent into it, you just get leg sweep. If you're a monk, you have leg sweep all the time. It's only a 3-second stun now, but you have leg sweep 24/7. If you're a warlock, you get Shadow Fury all the time. Doesn't matter what spec you are, 3-second stun. If you're a shaman, you get Capacitor Totem, 3-second stun. I mean, a lot of these have been reduced from 5 to 3, and some of them have actually been increased to 3, but they're basically making, I think they're just making a baseline level for all AoE stuns And it's not to do with trying to homogenize all the classes to make them the same. It's more to do with balancing, and I think specifically in Mythic Plus because, certain comps where you just stunlock mobs to death and burst them down were kind of OP, and it was kind of like to do certain keys you would really need. You couldn't get away without having an AoE stun, and now I think they're just giving more out. Unfortunately, Warriors actually lost Shockwave. They don't have it, and they don't get it. You can't even AoE stun, even if you wanted to, which I thought was kind of funny. It was like, get wrecked, Warriors, by the way, just saying. But as I said, it's not about homogenization. It's more about balancing. Like, for example, they're actually going the opposite direction. They're actually trying to make druids less like mages. They're getting rid of Displacer Beast and replacing it with a new skill where you basically can charge really fast, like initially like a cheetah, and then you slowly kind of slow down or whatever. It's still like a speed boost the whole time, but yeah, you start off really fast and you kind of ease back. And they're adding in a lot of skills that they took out in the prune. They're giving Druid Soothe back. They're giving Hibernate back. You can dispel them rage effects. You can put beasts to sleep. Hunters can use Trank Shot again. They got Trank Shot. There's a lot of things that they've just added back in that, didn't necessarily need to be taken out. It's not like you were pressing it. Like, I agree with some of the pruning. Some of the skills were just pointless maintenance buttons, which you just had to press every 40 seconds or something, and it was just annoying. But some of the stuff that was like, you would hardly ever use it, but if you saw a situation where your class could do something unique, like, oh, I can hibernate that mob, or I can soothe that debuff off, I can do something here, then you can do it, right? Which is, I think, is sick. I love keys like that. And, casual players don't need to worry about it. They don't even need to bind it or look at it. They can be like, oh, that's pointless, and they can leave it. But the guys who want to be real try-hard and do, use everything their class has, can do that, which I think is sick. And I hope they add in a lot of those kind of miscellaneous keys back to a lot of the classes, because they're really cool, and that's adds a skill cap to every class. In terms of the graphics / scenery, the way BFA looks is like, I mean, it is insane. It is like, okay, so Legion's here, BFA's up here. It's on another level, right? We're talking another level. The skyboxes, some of the scenes, I mean, the Horde zones especially. I mean, the Horde zones. Oh my god. This is one place. I'll show you. I'll get the clip up. It's like there's a blood moon and there's a death god shrine thing. It's a little bit of a spoiler. But dude, it is crazy. It looks so good. It's like, I mean, dude, their busted ass World of Warcraft engine. I don't even know how they do it. Like, honestly, their engine is so old and crappy, but like they can make it work, right? They have that thing going hard. Some of the things that I probably don't like as much, the Alliance zones. Some of the zones in the Alliance area just have excessive amounts of fog. Remember, these are the two starting zones I'm going off. The Horde starting zone and the Alliance starting zone. The Alliance starting zones, man, shit, too much fog. They've got some new, I don't know if it's a new fog engine or they're just trying some stuff out, but like, bro, you can't even, you're trying to look at your screen and you can only see like 100 meters. I'll get you some clips of that so you can see what I'm talking about. Extremely foggy in some of the zones, but in the crisp areas, some of the greener areas, looks amazing. The character models and the models that you see out there, the NPCs and things, some of them look absolutely terrifying. You got like spooky little witches, you got weird Wicker Man dudes, you got Zandalari trolls and blood trolls, you got blood gods and death gods, you got giant frogs. I mean, the NPCs look really, really sick. I mean, all around, I'd say probably the scenery looks insane. I mean, the graphics, I mean, I don't really have high standards when it comes to graphics. It's all about the gameplay and the end game for me. But I mean, they've really, I feel like if they can continue this trend and they can make the whole area and the whole expansion look like as good as this, then, I mean, that'd be amazing. I mean, that'd be insane. In terms of the questing, I did some of the quests. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. Again, the Horde starting area, way cooler quests. Really, really fun vehicle quests. Just cooler storylines, I guess. I mean, I'm not a huge lore dude, but like, I mean, let's be real here. The Horde quest, you got to become mutant hands and like uppercut people 50 yards into the air and stuff. You got to go around shooting natives out of a boat with a cannon and stuff. I mean, you got to do lots of cool stuff. You got to ride giant frogs. Let's be honest here, the quest's pretty good. Although I'm saying that it's such a small component. I mean, I don't even know it's really. I don't know why I'm still talking about it. Honestly, questing in a computer game like for me anyway, in World of Warcraft is such a small thing. Like questing is just like a means to an end. It's just like getting to max level, and then that. I mean, really, it's gonna be all about in game, for me, honestly. Also, just another note I have here was the memes and the anime. They have a lot of memes. The guys who are doing BFA, they obviously watched a lot of anime. There's like Death Note references. There's Naruto, like Easter eggs. You got there's Nicolas Cage, just straight up Wicker Man scenes out of Nicolas Cage movies. I mean, it was pretty hilarious. But as I said, it's gonna come down to the end game for me. Questing is a very small thing. Graphics, very small. It's what are they gonna do? And currently in the BFA Alpha, there's not enough, that we don't know. There's no war fronts. There's no island assaults or whatever, that whole thing they were talking about. It looks good. Looks really good. My first impressions is, I would say it looks really good, but what are you going to do differently from Legion that is going to make it better? What are you going to do, Blizzard, that is going to make this expansion, I mean, from great or good to amazing, That's what I'm hoping. But otherwise, first impressions, pretty good. But honestly, we need more we need more changes. We need more information. I can't wait for the next iterations of the alpha to come out so we can see what they're planning and what the end game is actually going to look like. Is it just going to be M+ and raids again? I mean, to be fair, if they just had really sick dungeons, which the first 2 dungeons, I didn't even mention that, are pretty good. If they have really sick dungeons and really sick raids, it'll still be a good expansion. But what I want to know is, what are they going to do that's going to make it really, take it from just being a Legion 2.0 to like a brand new game. Like that, fingers crossed. But that is going to be it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed me rambling on and on and on. If you haven't already, make sure you follow my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Quinn69, and you subscribe to my YouTubes, which you probably already are. Appreciate you guys. Until next time, peace the fuck out. I love you, and I will see you later.